Welcome to this course on Python programming. My name is Cherhin. I developed this course with one purpose in mind, to impart to you my knowledge of the Python programming language in a way that is as easy to understand as possible. To start with, the first question to ask is, why should anyone learn Python? The most important reasons are, Python is a general purpose programming language. This means that it can be used for building practically any application that we can think of. Top software companies like Google, Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, Dropbox, Spotify, Netflix, YouTube, they all use Python. Python is the best programming language for beginners. Compared to other programming languages, Python is the closest to natural human language. If you are starting out on learning a new programming language, Python is your best choice because it's easy to learn. Even for experienced programmers and developers, it is their preferred language because of the perform a task other languages that take lines of code in Python. Some programming languages have difficult to understand syntax and weird rules. Python does not have this. Python is similar, expecting to overtake JavaScript's position as the #1 most language, and not only that, it's been growing faster than any others at university's computer science curriculum. Python is the programming language for this. Data science is currently the most in demand. It is also the programming language for machine learning, big data, artificial intelligence, are part of what we call the fourth industrial revolution. Data scientists are in the technology field. In addition, Python has areas of finance and science and web, including financial trading applications and web and internet applications, and in computer networks, scientific and numeric applications. Yes, it's also used in developing dynamic interfunctional websites. Because of the extensive online community, Python has a large number of online libraries, making it easy for developers to develop complex applications with less codes. Libraries contexts are a collection of functions that allows you, as the application developer, to use from what you want the computer to do. The question to ask is, to programming, this course is for you. Python is a language for anyone who wants to learn how to program. Its syntax is simple and easy. If you already know any other programming languages, this course is also in-demand programming. If you already know Python, can be a course for you, so it's also even if you know Python. One final note before we end this video and go on to the next video. No course is any subject. This course and every other courses has its own grades. It's my intention to use to disseminate my knowledge as you should continue to learn from any other useful sources that come across. I hope you will gain something invaluable from spending your time on this course. Cheers and happy learning. Welcome to my second video on Python programming. My name is Cherhin. In this second video, I'll talk about programming and computers in general for the benefit of those who are new to this subject. Start with, what is programming? Programming is also commonly referred to as coding. Even though these two tasks are not totally the same, we usually use them interchangeably. Computer programming is writing codes to run on a computer. It is writing of instructions for the computer to perform some functions. It is such that the computer follows to achieve something, do what you want the computer to do. Before you write code to computer what to do, you must think of the algorithm. An algorithm is like a recipe. A specific example is a list of step-by-step rules to follow to solve a problem. You write down your algorithm as pseudocode. Pseudocode is something that you write down in very plain English language that is easy for us humans to understand. The pseudocode will be implemented on the computer in a programming language like Python, which the computer can understand. Programming involves writing a program or programs. It's also called a piece of code with a set of instructions for the computer to perform. Software like Python, Java, JavaScript, C++, Objective-C, PHP, Ruby, codes, and these languages are high-level programming languages. High-level human readable as compared to low-level programming languages. Source code must be translated by the computer through a compiler or interpreter code in order for the computer to do what you want it to do. Machine code contains only zeros and ones. High-level programming languages evolve from the language that is more human-readable and therefore closer to natural human language, the binary zeros and ones of machine code. Computers can only because the electronic circuitry of a computer consists of only two states and on. A binary system is a number system, only two digits, only 0 and 1, representing off and on. What is the best method to learn coding? Answer: practice, practice, practice. Start by coding what you want the computer to do. Then run the program results to see if it achieves what you want it to do. If it doesn't, then go back to your coding. And the whole process is repeated again and again until you get the results you want. In computer terminology, iterative process of testing and you cannot learn to drive watching people drive. Similarly, you cannot learn programming by just watching programming videos. You need to get to a computer and start coding yourself. In learning programming, it's very important to test your program after every changes to your code. Human beings make mistakes. Just typing ESLE instead of E will generate an error, run the way you want it to run. So remember to test your program again after any changes, how the changes may be. Log errors are only apparent after you test. Now, here's a little styling. In every program, there are common so that it makes it so to understand Python's code. In Python, it's documented in what is called the 8 Style Guide for Python. Take time to go through PEP 8 whenever. It's a must for every serious Python developer. In the later videos of this course, to PEP 8. In programming, we learn most working on a real-life project. Working in a full-time programming job as a software developer is the best of this in any program. This course will touch on the most essential and putting our mind to work in trying to work a problem is the best way of gaining experience in the programming language. Programming is a fed learning process. Programming is how you, through knowledge and capabilities of the programming language, find your own ways to apply these commands that are given you the computer to do. A programming language like Python is self-repeating like any one of us. So when we try to understand a Python program something in a particular way, understand that it's how the person opens through Python language itself. In comparison, is part of its curriculum. Because programming is where you put what you learn into implementation. The wonderful thing about software development is that not as fast as you can. You're still testing your code, and it's not gone live production yet. Have every possible error in your code. Learn the language that no one else teach you. Welcome to my fourth video on Python programming. My name is Hin. In this fourth video, we start our first coding lesson. We will cover the very basic concepts of Python, starting with the print function, and then about command lines. So let's get started. Our first program prints the words "Hello World" onto the screen. Print is a function in Python. It prints to the screen. Specifically, it is a Python built-in function. That means it comes together with the Python programming language. Functions in Python are in fact followed by an open parenthesis and then a closed parenthesis. With the parenthesis are argument or arguments that you want to pass to the function. For the function, whatever is between the open and double this that in Python is work with either single or double quotation marks. In Hello World, using single quotation marks produces exactly the same. It is good programming practice to be consistent in our coding syntax. So if you use quote string, we should continue to use single quotes in the so that's your first single line. We'll go through more about functions again. Next, what are comments? Comments in Python start with the hash character. Comments are used to describe in plain English what your code is trying to do. It's like in notes. Explaining is on your mind when you put in that very you could even use it to put in your ideas temporarily so that you can come back to it, be reminded of your ideas. Comments are also used to disable sections of your code. For example, remove them only temporarily for thinkers so that you can easily unremove or put back your code later on. Thereby the code. Python does not run them because they are there for descriptive purposes as human beings, and Python ignores them. Well-written comments help you immense debugging tasks, as it saves you a lot of time and effort. Remember what you are trying to achieve in your piece of code. It is important to write clear code. It's important to write clear comments. Keep comments short and simple to understand. You can put comments immediately after your code. Now, what happens if you want to put comments and you can do so by enclosing your comment lines starting with 3 single quotation marks and ending with 3 single quotation marks. You can use quotation marks instead of 3 single quotation marks. Now, in the next video, we'll cover what variables are. See you in the next video. Welcome to my 5th video on Python programming. My name is Hin. In this 5th video, we'll cover what variables are. Nearly 80% of our codes will consist of variables. That's how important variables are. Variables will be referred to throughout this course. So let's get started. So what are variables? To put it very simply, a variable is a name for something. The word variable suggests that it is something that varies or changes. Therefore, a variable in Python is a container or storage box, of which its contents can change depending on what you put into the container or storage box. It is a storage holder that has a name or label stick outside the storage box with the label student name, and inside this storage box contains the student's name. The container's label should match whatever is contained inside the container. The container's label should clearly and appropriately accurately describe what will be stored inside the container. In fact, 80% codes consist of containers, storage boxes, or variables because computers are so good at storing string. When we create a variable, we give it a name, just like when we use a storage box, the thing is to label it with a name. We use a variable name to reference data, such that we can access the data inside the variable through referencing the variable's name. The variable's name is, but its contents or value can change, just like we can put something in a storage box and later take something out of it and put something else into it. To assign value to a variable name, we use the assignment operator. The equal sign is called the assignment operator. The variable name has its value changed to the variable name count has its value changed from 5 to 6, adding 1 it, then from 6 to 10 by taking out the 6 and putting in the 10. Select variable names that represent what they are for. Try to use the variable count instead of just C. Why? Alphabets uppercase A to Z, alphabets lowercase a to Z, this 0 to 9, and underscore character. Those of variables are student's name, underscore student name, case as student underscore name, as one continuous word, camel case continuous word, camel case student name 1 as one continuous word, underscore. Examples of invalid variable names are invalid. Variable names cannot ampersand name is invalid because variable names cannot have any special characters except this character. Student space name is invalid because variable names cannot have this character. Hyphen name is invalid because hyphens are not allowed. General naming convention in Python when it comes to variable names is to use lowercase alphabet using the underscore character. However, many Python solve camel case instead of the lowercase character separated by the underscore character. Camel case refers to variable names starting with a lowercase character and is using the separate two words. It starts the next word with an uppercase character. Into that, regardless of whether you use lowercase with underscore character or camel case, you should be consistent and adopt the same naming convention throughout your program. Variables are case sensitive. Lowercase student underscore name is not the same as uppercase student. Python keywords cannot be used for variable names. Sensitive language. Keywords are case sensitive. Please note the 3 keywords. False, true. They all start with an uppercase character and not a character. Now, since variable names are so sensitive, the key false with case F is not the same as lowercase false. Keyword false can be a variable name, but lowercase false can be a variable name. As the value of a variable changes throughout a program, because new can use the print function to trace the value of variables. The print function can serve purposes, whereby you know what wrong, and one way to find out is trace how the values of our variable change in the program. There are advanced debugging tools that we can use. That's it for now. In the next video, we'll cover the part 1 data types are. See you in the next video. Welcome to my 6th video on Python programming. My name is Jerhin. In this 6th video, we will cover the part 1 of what data types are. Data types will also be covered in more details in the video string manipulation. So let's get started. So what are data types? To store values and to perform operations on these values. All computers achieve tasks and thus complex tasks for smaller, simple operations values. The first data type that I'm going to talk about is a sequence of characters. 1 equals I'm a string because of A to Z. Text 2 equals I'm a string of alphabets A to Z. Text 3 equals I'm a string because I contain like 0 to 9. I'm a string because of special characters like ampersand, hash, dollar, and etc. Strings can include alphanumeric characters. We encode strings using an open quotation mark and a closed quotation mark. If empty values can be represented by 2 quotation marks with nothing between them, they are called empty strings. In the hello world example, we can use variables instead of the same result by first assigning string literal hello world to a variable and then printing the variable instead of printing the string literal. Here, greetings is the variable name, a container or a storage box, and hello world is what we call the string literal, which is the value of the string and is always enclosed within quotation marks. Hello are first stored in the variable greetings. Then whatever is stored in the variable greetings to the print function, which will print out the contents of the variable greetings. Not those using either the double quotation marks or the single quotation marks. But remember to be and adopt either only the double or only the single quotation marks throughout. You use double quotation marks, then stick to it throughout your program. In Python, you can use triple quotation marks to extend multiple lines. This is line 1 of the string line text. This is line of the string variable text. This is line 3 of the string variable name multi-line text. This is line 4 of the string variable name multi-line text. This is line 5 of the string variable name multi-line text. Print multi-line text will print the whole string, which on its own separate line. If you have quotation marks within your string literals, you can treat them as escape character, which is the backslash character on your keyboard. Single quotation marks are allowed here, but double marks here. Means if your string literal is enclosed in double quotation marks, you must escape text within your string literal preceding it with a backslash character. Text equals single quotation marks must be escaped here, but double quotation marks are allowed here. That means if your string literal is enclosed using must quotation marks within your string literal by preceding it with a backslash character. Now, since a string literal is interpreted as an what do you do if you need to include the actual backslash literal? This is to backslash your backslash character. Text equals c:\backslash users \backslash mary will print your path name is c:\backslash users \backslash mary. Backslash character before a backslash character, you are effectively telling the immediately following it is not to be interpreted as an escape character, interpreted as a backslash character. You do not backslash character. Text equals your path name c:\backslash mary. Print will print an error message. Because the backslash character within a string literal is interpreted as an escape character, immediately following an escape character, it expects either a question mark or another. Alternatively, it's a raw string where you precede your string literal with an R character. Text equals R, your path name \users \mary. Print your path name is c:\users \mary. The character tells Python to put the backslash character inside the literal character, but rather to treat the backslash character as a backslash character. So neat and elegant when you use the raw string method. Whenever you need to tell the backslash character inside a string literal as an escape character. For neat, elegant code that makes it easy to read and understand. That's for now. Still, we'll cover the part 2 of what data types are. See you in the next video. Welcome to my video on Python programming. My name is Hin. In this 7th video, we'll cover the part 2 of what data types are. Data types will also be covered in more detail in the video on string manipulation. So let's get started. So what are numeric data types? There are two main numeric data types, namely 0 to 9, and positive or negative sign with no decimal point. This whole number, which is not fraction, and be possible. Integers do not have decimal places. 2503 is an integer. 0 is an integer. Integers is the floating point numbers, which is also a numeric data type. From floating point numbers, 2503.732 is a floating point number. Minus 82.87 is a number. 0.0 is a floating point number. 7 is an integer. 0 is minus 3, minus 2 is a floating point number, and 0 is an integer, whereas 535.419 is a floating point number. If given a choice, floating point numbers, because the computer processes integers much faster than floating point numbers. What is the difference between number equals to and close with quotation number equals to without the quotation mark? The answer is by putting numbers within quotation marks makes it a string data type, whereas just having the number without any quotation marks makes it a numeric data type. Commas are not allowed in numeric data types. So number equal to 200 invalid. What about then the booleans have true or false? Start with an uppercase F. Booleans true or false. The Python built-in function bool true. Only numeric 0 value, the bool function. All other values passed with true. Example 1. The variable num1 is assigned the numeric of 0. When we print its boolean value, false will be printed because the boolean of num1 which has a 0 numeric turn false. Example, variable num is assigned numeric value of 6. When its boolean value, true will be printed because the boolean of num1 which has a non-zero numeric value true. Example 3. The variable is assigned the numeric of minus 3.56. When we print its boolean value, true will be printed because the boolean of 1 which has a non-zero numeric value will return true. Example 4. The variable text1 is assigned the string value. When we print its boolean value, true will be printed because the boolean of of 1, an empty string value will return true. Example, text 1 is assigned an empty string. We print its boolean value. False will be printed because the boolean of text 1, which has an empty string value, will return. Booleans have so many other uses, including in expressions and string manipulation, which we will come across more later in this course. What about a print key none? None is a null value and its own data type. The variable none is assigned the Python keyword none. When we print none, none will be printed. When we print type none, none will be printed. Is none a false value? When we print none, false will be printed. That's it for now. In this video, we will cover the part 1 of string manipulation and typecasting. See you in the next video. Welcome to my 8th video on Python programming. My name is Hin. In this 8th video, we'll cover the part 1 of string manipulation and typecasting. So let's get started. So let's start with string manipulation. In Python, you can repeat a text by using the multiply sign. Print hi multiplied by 3 will print hi hi hi. Print asterisk multiplied by 10 will print 10 asterisk. You can also concatenate text 1 equals IM, text 2 equals here. Text 1 plus space plus text 2 will print IM. And here, you can use the comma sign to concatenate text. Print text 2. Note that when using a comma to concatenate, Python automatically inserts a space between. You can also use Python's string formatting, or what Python start with the F character, followed by and close within an open quotation mark, the close quotation mark. If you want to include printing a variable or string literal, and close within an open close curly bracket. IM. Text 2 equals here. Print hi, text 1, 10 will print hi. Using F, your code looks more elegant and readable. X using is index position from right. Position from left is always 0 and not 1. Use the open and close square brackets to index. It always enclosed by an open and close bracket. Text equals hello jack. Print text index 0 will print uppercase H, which is the first character hello jack. Text index 4 will print low, which is the 5th character of the string literal hello jack. With any portion by referencing its index position from right to left instead. The first index position from the right is index -1. Text equals hello jack. Print text index -1 will be low, which is the first character of the string literal hello jack. from the print text index -9 will print lowercase e with the string literal counting from the right. Remember, positive index position start from the left with 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. While negative index from the right and -1, -2, -3, -6, and so on. For the same string, we can either use positive indexes or negative indexes. To extract the first 5 characters, put a colon before the index. Text equals hello text :5 will print the first 5 characters, which is hello. To extract the last 3, put a colon after the index. Text equals hello jet. Print text -3 characters, which is ACK. Equals string literal by putting a starting index and then putting an ending. Text equals hello jet. The index is inclusive while the ending index is exclusive. So text 6 will print jet because starting index position 6 the j and ending index position 10 -1 is the k character. This means the index of the slicing is the last character to be included in slicing 10 -1 because the ending index position is exclusive. So take careful note that determining the last character in the slice is always the ending index position -1. Now, slice by counting from right to left state. We can use a negative sign for instance. X equals hello jet. Note that again index while the ending index is exclusive. So print text will print ELL because starting index position -9 and ending index position -6 is error. You can also slice a string literal by putting or start colon and not putting an ending index. Text equals hello jet. Print text colon will print O space jet because start position 4 is O, and since we do not print the last character of the string literal, which is the k character. Again, if you want to slice by counting from right to left instead, we can use the text hello jet. Print text -4 because starting index position -4 is the j. If we put an ending index, it will include until the last character of the string, which is the. That's it for now. In the next video, we will cover the parts and typecasting. See you in the next video. Welcome to my 9th video on Python programming. My name is Cherhin. In this 9th video, we will cover part 2 of string manipulation and typecasting. So let's get started. You can also use Python built-in methods and functions to manipulate strings. But first, now string to a key built-in. Text equals uppercase. Text.upper will convert and print text is. However, if we bring text now to see its value, you will notice that it still has its original lowercase characters. So any method that is applied to a string does not change the value of the string. To capture values, you need to assign it to another variable. Text_new stores the result of changing text to all uppercase characters. Text_new will now print every character in uppercase. To convert a string, we can use the method lower. Text equals please convert me to all lowercase. Print text.lower will convert and print every character at lowercase. To count the number of occurrences of a character of the method count. Text equals count number of in me. Print text.count print 3, which is the number of characters inside text. To replace a character or characters with something else, we can use the method replace. Text equals replace this with that. Print replace this, that. Result replace that with that. To find the length of a text, you can use the Python built-in function length. Text equals the length of this text. Print length text will print 31. To remove both ends of a text of its spaces, we use the method strip. Text equals strip both ends with 3 and 3 trailing white spaces. Print text.strip will print with both leading and trailing white spaces removed. And print length will print 15, excluding the leading and trailing spaces. To remove leading white spaces, we can use the method lstrip. Equals strip left end with 3 leading white spaces and 3 trailing spaces. Text.lstrip will print strip left end with leading white spaces removed and trailing white spaces. To remove trailing white spaces, we can use the method rstrip. Text equals strip right end with 3 leading white spaces. Print text.rstrip will print strip right end with trailing white spaces removed and leading white spaces remaining. Now, there are more methods from which will return the bool if it's an alphanumeric character. Its alphabetic checks that every text is an alphabetic character. That every character in the text is a numeric character. Its upper checks that the text is an uppercase character. Its lower checks that every character in the text is a lowercase character. Text equals A, B, C, case E, F. Print stop is alphanumeric will print true. Every character is alphanumeric. Print text dot is alpha will print true because every character is better. Print text dot is digit will print false because it's a numeric character. Print text dot is upper because only the E character is in uppercase. Print text dot is lower will print false because even though all the characters are in lowercase, the E uppercase. Text equals string literal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Print text dot is alphanumeric will print true because every character is an alphanumeric character. Print text dot is alphabetic because all the characters are numeric. Print text dot will print true because is a numeric character. Text dot is upper will print false because all the characters are digits. So now it's uppercase. Print text dot is lower will print false. All the characters are digits. so none of the characters are in lowercase. Equals string literal AF. Print text dot is alphanumeric will print false because it contains a space character, alphanumeric character. Print text dot is alphabet because it contains a space character, which is not an alphabet. That's it for another video. We will cover the part 3 of manipulation. See you in the next video. Welcome to my video on Python programming. My name is Cherhin. In this 10th video, we will cover the part 3 of string manipulation and typecasting. So let's get started. So what is typeable from one data type to another data? To convert a floating point into Python function, number equals 5.3251 is a floating point number. Int number will convert it from a floating point number to an integer, which is the integer 5 without the decimals. Print number int will print 5. Print type gives you an integer data type. To convert a string to an integer, built-in function int. Text equals 5 and is a string. Text will convert it from a string to an integer 5. Print text int will print 5. Print gives you an integer. To convert an integer to a floating point number, we use the Python built-in function float. Number equals one integer. Float number will convert it from an integer to a floating number 0. Print number float will print 1.0. Float gives you a floating point number. String number, we use the Python function float. Text equals 5251 and close within quotation marks is a string. Float text will convert it from a string to a floating point number, which is 5.3251. Print text float will print 5.3251. Print text float gives you a floating point number data type. To convert an integer to a string, we use the Python built-in function string. Number equals 1 integer. String number will convert it from an integer to a string, which is 1 equals print number string will print 1. Print type number string data type. To convert a floating point number to a string, number equals 5.3251. If a number will convert it from a floating point number to a string, which is 5.3251, enclosed within quotation marks. Print number string will print 1. Print type number string gives you a string data type. We do when we need two numbers, one of integer data type and the other of floating point number data type. Number 1 equals 12 is of integer data type, while number 2 equals 5.3251 is of floating point number. Number total adds number 1, which is an integer data type, a floating point number data type. will give the result 17.3, which is a floating point number data type. Print type number total gives you a floating point number data type. This is called implicit data type conversion, where it converts the result to a floating point number data type. However, there are two numbers, one of integer data type and the other of string data type, to explicitly do the data type conversion. Number 1 equals is of int type, while number 2 equals 5.3251 enclosed with quotation string data type. Number total x number 1, which is an integer data, which is a string data type, will give the result as an error because integer to a string. To overcome this, string first have to be converted to a floating point number using the Python built-in function float. Number 1 is of integer type, while number 2 equals 5.3251 closed within quotation marks is of string data type. Number total x number 1, which is an integer data type, to float of number 2, which type converted from string to floating point data type, will give the result 17.3251 number data type. Print type number total gives you a floating point number. This is called explicit data type conversion, whereby we have to write the code. That's it for now. In the next video, we'll cover what structures are. See you in the next video.